Picture this. Your neighbor just dropped 60 grand on a brand new truck with enough screens to run NASA, but it's already throwing error codes after 10,000 miles. Meanwhile, that beat-up work truck from 1995 parked across the street, it just rolled over 400,000 miles and sounds like it could go another 400,000. What's the difference? Under the hood of that old Warrior beats an engine built when engineers cared more about longevity than quarterly earnings. Today, we're counting down 12 legendary truck engines that make modern power plants look like expensive experiments. These aren't just engines, they're mechanical monuments to an era when built tough actually meant something. Ready to discover which powerhouses earned their stripes hauling America's workload for decades? Number 12, AMC 401, V8, 1971 to 1978. The AMC 401 might be the most underrated truck engine in American history. While everyone was obsessing over big blocks from the Big Three, American Motors quietly perfected this 401 cubic inch beast that powered everything from Jeep J-Series trucks to Wagoneers. With 330 horsepower and 430 pound-feet of torque from the factory, it wasn't trying to win drag races. It was built to work. The secret? AMC engineers used forged connecting rods and a forged crankshaft when competitors were cutting corners with cast parts. One Wyoming rancher I interviewed still uses his 74 J20 with the original 401 for hauling cattle trailers through mountain passes. After 280,000 miles, he's only rebuilt it once, and that was voluntary maintenance, not necessity. The engine's over-square design meant it could pull hard without spinning fast, saving wear on internals. Modern trucks might have aluminum blocks and variable valve timing, but can they plow snow for 40 winters straight? The 401 laughs at such questions. And here's the kicker. Finding parts is still surprisingly easy because AMC used this engine across multiple platforms. But if you think the 401 was tough, wait until you see what Ford engineers cooked up in their skunk works. Number 11, Ford 460 Big Block, 1968 to 1997. When Ford decided to build the 460, they weren't messing around. This 7.5-liter monster became the go-to engine for anyone who needed to move mountains, literally. In F-250s and F-350s, the 460 delivered 365 horsepower and a stump-pulling 490 pound-feet of torque. But here's what modern truck buyers don't understand. This engine was designed to run at 75% capacity all day, every day, for decades. RV manufacturers loved it so much, they kept ordering it until 1997, long after Ford tried to phase it out. The 460's party trick? Its incredibly robust bottom end with main bearing caps that could handle twice the factory power output. Hot rodders discovered you could push 600 horsepower through a stock bottom end without breaking a sweat. One construction company owner in Texas told me his fleet of 460 powered dump trucks averaged 350,000 miles before major overhauls. And these trucks lived their entire lives hauling maximum loads. Sure, you'll get single-digit fuel economy, but when gas was cheap and durability mattered more than MPGs, the 460 was king. Think that's impressive longevity? Our next engine makes the 460 look high maintenance. Number 10, Dodge Chrysler 318 V8, 1967 to 2003. The 318 LA Series V8 might be the most honest engine ever bolted into a truck frame. No fancy technology, no turbochargers, no direct injection, just 5.2 liters of pure, simple reliability. Producing 230 horsepower and 300 pound-feet of torque, it wasn't winning any power contests, but Dodge Ram owners didn't care. Why? Because this engine simply refused to die. The 318's hydraulic lifters were self-adjusting, the timing chain could last 200,000 miles, and the cast iron block was so overbuilt it could survive overheating that would kill modern aluminum engines. A buddy of mine bought a 95 Ram 1500 with a 318 from a scrapyard. The body was rusted through, but the engine ran perfectly after sitting for 3 years. He dropped it into another truck and drove it daily for 5 more years. The secret sauce was Chrysler's conservative tuning and bomb-proof Mopar ignition system. Even neglectful owners who forgot oil changes couldn't kill these things. Is it any wonder police departments and government fleets ran 318 into the ground and then kept running them? But for sheer agricultural immortality, nothing touches what's coming next. Number 9, Toyota 22RE, 1983 to 1995. Before Toyota conquered the world with Tacomas, they built the 22RE, arguably the most reliable four-cylinder truck engine ever mass-produced. At just 2.4 liters, making 116 horsepower and 140 pound-feet of torque, it sounds laughably weak by today's standards. But here's the thing. This engine was engineered to run forever at 100% load. The timing chain setup was basically bulletproof, using dual-row chains when everyone else used single-row. The fuel injection system was dead simple but incredibly precise. Toyota pickup owners routinely report 400,000-plus miles on original engines with just basic maintenance. There's a reason these trucks became the unofficial vehicle of revolution worldwide. They simply cannot be killed. One Alaska fishing guide has been using the same '89 pickup to haul boats since new. It's got 520,000 miles, still passes emissions, and has never been opened up beyond valve adjustments. The 22RE achieved something modern engines can't. It was simultaneously understressed and overbuilt. When was the last time you heard of a modern turbo four-banger lasting 500,000 miles? Exactly. Speaking of engines that refuse to die, number 8 takes durability to commercial-grade extremes. Number 8, International DT466, 1971 to 2004. Most people know International for school buses, but truckers know the DT466 as possibly the most durable medium-duty diesel ever created. This 7.6-liter inline-six produced 210 horsepower and 520 pound-feet of torque in truck applications. But those numbers miss the point entirely. The DT466 was engineered for million-mile service life. We're talking wet cylinder liners that could be replaced without removing the engine, gear-driven timing that never needed adjustment, and bottom-end bearings sized for semi-truck duty. One delivery company documented a DT466 that went 1.3 million miles on the original bottom end, just replacing injectors and doing in-frame overhauls. The engine's massive displacement relative to its power output meant it was barely working. International built these with such loose tolerances that they'd run on basically any diesel fuel, including waste oil. There's a reason you still see 1990s International 4700s hauling freight today. Their engines outlast 3 truck bodies. Modern emissions-choked diesels with their complex injection systems and DPF problems would weep at such longevity. Think that's impressive? The next engine on our list basically invented the concept of unkillable. Number 7. GM 6.6-liter Duramax LBZ, 2006 to 2007. Wait, a modern engine on this list. The LBZ Duramax earns its spot by being the last great pre-emissions diesel, a sweet spot where technology enhanced rather than handicapped reliability. This 6.6-liter turbo diesel cranked out 360 horsepower and 650 pound-feet of torque. But more importantly, it did so without DEF systems, DPFS, or EGR coolers that plague current diesels. The LBZ used a Bosch high-pressure common rail system that was complex enough for efficiency but simple enough for longevity. Internally, the engine featured cast iron block and heads, forged rods, and a forged crank that could handle 600-plus horsepower on stock internals. Owners regularly report 300,000 to 500,000 miles with nothing but maintenance. One hotshot driver in Oklahoma has 680,000 miles on his original LBZ, still pulling heavy trailers daily. The 6-speed Allison transmission behind it was equally bulletproof. Sure, injectors might need replacement around 150,000 miles, but compared to modern diesels needing emissions equipment every 100,000 miles, the LBZ looks better every year. GM accidentally built their last truly reliable diesel, and they've been trying to recapture that magic ever since. But for pure simplicity and longevity, you can't beat what's next. Number 6, Ford 300 inline-six. 1965 to 1996. The Ford 300 straight 6 is what happens when engineers decide to build an anvil with pistons. This 4.9-liter workhorse made just 150 horsepower and 260 pound-feet of torque, but it delivered that power from idle to redline without complaint, every single day for decades. The beauty was in its simplicity. 7 main bearings for a 6-cylinder engine, most had 4, gear-driven camshaft, no timing chain to stretch, and intake exhaust ports on the same side, 1 less gasket to fail. UPS ran thousands of these in their trucks, routinely getting 500,000 plus miles between rebuilds. The engine was so under stress that Ford's factory service manual listed the break-in period as the first 100,000 miles. A farmer in Kansas showed me his 88 F-150 with the original 306. 450,000 miles, still doesn't burn oil, still starts in -20 weather. The torque curve was so flat you could practically idle up mountains in third gear. Modern turbo engines might make more power from less displacement, but they'll never match the 300 Zen-like reliability. Ready for something with a bit more grunt? Number 5 changed the diesel game forever. Number 5. Caterpillar 3126, 1997 to 2003. When Caterpillar decided to build a medium-duty truck engine, they brought heavy equipment mentality to the highway. The 3126 was a 7.2-liter inline-six diesel, producing 330 horsepower and 860 pound-feet of torque, but Caterpillar built it like it was going into a bulldozer. The block was so overbuilt that rebuilders joke you could use it as a boat anchor and it would still run afterward. This engine featured steel pistons, not aluminum, induction-hardened cylinder walls, and a high-pressure oil pump that powered the fuel injectors hydraulically, simpler than modern common rail systems. Fleet managers loved the 3126 because it was virtually maintenance-free beyond oil changes. One moving company has a 2000 Freightliner with a 3126 that just crossed 900,000 miles on the original engine, still pulling 40,000-pound loads through the Rockies. The HEUI injection system might seem primitive now, but it eliminated the complex high-pressure fuel pumps that fail on modern diesels. When Caterpillar exited the on-highway market, truckers wept. They knew engines this robust would never be built again under modern regulations. But even CAT has to bow to what's coming next. Number 4. Chevrolet 350 Small Block, 1967 to 2002. The Chevy 350 isn't just an engine, it's basically America's mechanical heartbeat. Over its 35-year production run in trucks, this 5.7-liter V8 powered everything from farm trucks to Suburbans, producing anywhere from 165 to 255 horsepower and 255 to 330 pound-feet of torque, depending on the year. But horsepower isn't why the 350 is legendary. It's the fact that you could fix one with a hammer and a prayer. The engine was so common that every parts store in America stocks rebuild kits. The design was so proven that NASCAR teams trusted it for 500-mile races at full throttle. I know a landscaper who has 3 CK 1500s with 350s, combined mileage over 1.2 million miles, all on original blocks. The secret? GM perfected the recipe: strong 4-bolt mains on performance versions, excellent oil circulation, and tolerances loose enough to survive neglect, but tight enough for efficiency. Modern LS engines might be technically superior, but you can't rebuild an LS in your driveway with basic tools. The 350 democratized durability. Think that's impressive? Wait until you hear about the diesel that literally won't die. Number 3, Detroit Diesel, 6.2-liter, 1982 to 1993. Before Power Strokes and Duramaxes, there was the Detroit 6.2, the diesel that proved you could sacrifice everything for reliability and win. This 6.2-liter naturally aspirated diesel made a whopping 130 horsepower and 240 pound-feet of torque. Yes, you read that right. Your modern sedan probably has more power, but the 6.2 was built for the apocalypse. No turbo to fail, no intercooler to leak, no complex injection system to break. Just indirect injection through a Stanodyne rotary pump that could run on everything from cooking oil to jet fuel. The military loved these so much they put them in Humvees, where they survived literal warfare. One Alaska pipeline worker has a 1985 K30 with 670,000 miles on the original 6.2, it's been through 40 Arctic winters and still starts at -30. The engine's low compression ratio and conservative tuning meant internal stresses were minimal. Sure, you'll lose every race, but you'll still be driving when everyone else is walking. GM accidentally built an engine so simple that third-world mechanics could keep them running with zip ties and hope. Our runner-up takes a different approach to immortality. Number 2, Ford's 7.3-liter Power Stroke, 1994 to 2003. The 7.3-liter Power Stroke isn't just a good diesel, it's the diesel every subsequent Ford diesel wishes it could be. This 7.3-liter V8 turbo diesel produced 235 to 275 horsepower and 525 pound-feet of torque, but numbers don't tell the story. This was the last mechanical injection diesel Ford built, using the bulletproof HEUI system that eliminated failure-prone high-pressure fuel pumps. The forged rods could handle 500 horsepower on stock internals. The bed plate design meant the bottom end was essentially unbreakable. One Texas oil field company has a fleet of 7.3-liter Super Duties with over 500,000 miles each, still working daily in the Permian Basin. The engine was so good that Ford dealers still get customers asking for something like my old 7.3 20 years later. No EGR, no DPF, no DF, just pure mechanical reliability. When properly maintained, these engines routinely see 400,000 to 500,000 miles before needing major work. Modern 6.7-liter Power Strokes make twice the power, but they'll never match the 7.3's reputation for anvil-like reliability. Ready for number one? This engine doesn't just beat modern trucks, it embarrasses them. Number 1. Cummins 5.9-liter 12-valve, 1989 to 1998. The undisputed king of truck engine reliability. The 5.9-liter 12-valve Cummins isn't just an engine, it's a legend that refuses to die. This 5.9-liter inline-six turbo diesel started at 160 horsepower and 400 pound-feet of torque, eventually reaching 215 horsepower and 440 pound-feet by 1998. But those modest numbers hide the truth. This engine was built for million-mile service. The P7100 mechanical injection pump was so reliable that farmers still seek out these trucks specifically. No computers, no sensors to fail, just pure mechanical simplicity. The cast iron block was so overbuilt that tuners regularly push 600-plus horsepower through stock bottom ends. One documented case shows a 1996 Ram 2500 with 1.6 million miles on the original engine. Just regular maintenance and one injection pump rebuild. The engine's inline-six configuration meant perfect primary and secondary balance, reducing vibration and wear. Cylinder heads were non-cross flow but virtually indestructible. Even the stock head gasket could handle 50-plus psi of boost. There's a reason these trucks command premium prices 25 years later. Owners know they're buying immortality. The 12-valve Cummins proved that peak engine design happened before computers took over. Modern engines will never touch this level of reliability because they're not allowed to. Emissions regulations ensure complexity that guarantees eventual failure. And there you have it, 12 engines that make modern power plants look like disposable appliances. These mechanical masterpieces share one common trait. They were built when durability mattered more than quarterly earnings reports. While your neighbor's new truck is getting software updates and emission system repairs, these old warriors just keep turning over, decade after decade, apocalypse after apocalypse. They remind us that somewhere along the line, we traded reliability for technology, and maybe, just maybe, that wasn't such a great deal. Thanks for joining me on this journey through truck engine history. If these bulletproof engines impressed you, wait until you see my next video on 10 classic SUVs that are actually getting more valuable, including one that's doubled in price just this year. Until then, keep those old engines running because they sure don't make them like they used to.